What if I told you that pretty much everything you think you know about reality is a lie? And I'm not talking about a little white lie. I mean a massive, grand deception, one that's been specifically designed to keep you from ever realizing your true, incredible power. Today, we're diving into a perspective that flips our whole understanding of the universe completely on its head. Let's get into it.
And that quote you just saw, well, that's really the heart of it. This idea that we're all just biological accidents. That we evolved from apes and we're living in this cold, meaningless universe. According to this worldview, that isn't just a scientific theory. It's a story. It's a story that we're told over and over again to limit what we think is possible.
So what exactly is this great lie? It's this belief called materialism, the idea that everything, and I mean everything, the stars, this planet, even your own thoughts and feelings, is all just a bunch of complex chemical reactions. But think about that for a second. If that's really true, where does your experience of being you come from? That right there, that's the giant, gaping hole in the materialist worldview.
And that brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? The one thing that materialism, for all its fancy equations and all its experiments, just can't touch. What is consciousness? I mean, where do ideas even come from? Why do we feel love or hope or despair? Why do you have this rich internal world inside your head at all? According to the perspective we're exploring, this isn't just some mystery that science hasn't solved yet. Oh no. It's the one question they don't want you asking, because the answer changes everything.
So this really lays out the two paths, right? On the left, you've got this cold, gray world of materialism, a world where you are nothing more than a complex machine, just a temporary arrangement of atoms that will one day fall apart. But on the right, you see this vibrant, living, breathing universe where you are a divine being, a spark of cosmic consciousness itself. The choice, according to this viewpoint, is entirely yours.
So then, what does it really mean to be a true human in this kind of universe? Well, it boils down to two incredible, fundamental forces: love and imagination. And here, love isn't just a mushy feeling. It's presented as the cosmic glue that literally holds the universe together. It's the frequency of connection itself. And imagination? It's not just daydreaming. It is the engine of creation. Together, these two are the keys to unlocking a divine potential we've all forgotten we have.
Okay, so if the universe isn't really made of matter, what is it made of? Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine a radio. The air all around you is just packed with invisible radio waves. Music, conversations, data, that's the true reality. Now your radio, or in this case your brain, can only tune into one station at a time. And that one station you're tuned into, that's the physical world you experience. But all those other stations, they're still there, vibrating at all these different frequencies, just waiting for you to tune in.
Now, to get a better handle on this, we can actually look to the philosopher Immanuel Kant. He came up with this idea that there are actually two realities. First, you have what he called the noumena. That's the world as it really is. It's that buzzing, vibrating field of pure energy we were talking about, all those radio waves in the air. Then you have the phenomena, and that's the world as we see it, after our brains have filtered and translated all that energy into the solid things we perceive. It's the one song playing on our radio.
And this is where it gets really wild. There's a theory from psychologist Julian Jaynes that our two brain hemispheres have very different jobs. The right side of your brain, that's your antenna. It's what picks up on the raw spiritual vibrations of the universe, the noumena. But the left side of your brain, that's your translator. It takes all that raw holistic data and turns it into the logical material world you see all around you, the phenomena. It's like we all have a built-in reality-creating machine right inside our own head.
So where did this physical world, this one single radio station, even come from? Imagine a single divine source, like a giant cosmic bell. When this bell gets struck, it sends out this incredibly powerful, high-frequency vibration, and that's the spiritual realm. Now, as that sound travels further and further away from the source, the vibration starts to slow down. It loses energy, it becomes less intense, and eventually it becomes so slow that it actually solidifies into what we call matter. So in this view, the physical world is really just a frozen sound wave from that divine source.
If we're living in a reality that's been constructed for us, what does that actually feel like? It turns out, over 2,000 years ago, the philosopher Plato came up with a perfect metaphor for our exact situation. It is famous Allegory of the Cave, and it's a story that reveals the shocking truth about the prison we call reality. I want you to really try and picture this.
Imagine you are one of these prisoners. You've spent your entire life chained up, forced to stare at a blank stone wall. You can't turn your head, you can't see anything else. Now, behind you, there's a fire burning, and people are parading puppets in front of it, casting shadows on the wall in front of you. For you, these shadows, they aren't just shadows. They are your entire world.
See, for those prisoners, the shadows are reality. They have absolutely no way of knowing that anything else even exists. And according to this perspective, we are those prisoners. The shadows on our wall are our Instagram feeds, our Netflix shows, the 24/7 news cycle. We are so mesmerized by the puppet show that we completely forget we're sitting in a cave.
This just begs the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If our reality is just a show, then who's the director? And what in the world do they want from us? I mean, why would anyone go to all the trouble of building this incredibly elaborate prison for our minds?
Well, the answer, according to this viewpoint, is a new kind of slavery, not of the body, but of the mind. See, in a universe that's actually made of consciousness, the most precious resource, the most valuable commodity there is your attention. And why is that? Because your attention is the fuel for your imagination, and your imagination is the engine that actually creates reality. If they can control what you pay attention to, they can control the world you create. It's the ultimate heist, tricking us into building our very own prison.
Okay, so we're stuck in a mental prison that's designed to steal our creative energy. I know, that's a pretty bleak picture, but don't worry, because there is a way out. In this next part, we're going to look at the escape plan, how to break the chains, walk out of the cave, and finally reclaim your power.
So what does it really mean to be free? It's not about having more money or more rights. It's about waking up from a dream. It's just like in the movie The Matrix, right? When Neo finally starts to see the green code behind the illusion. True freedom is learning to see the source code of reality, that vibrant spiritual energy that's creating the world we see all around us.
For thousands and thousands of years, mystics and sages have all pointed to one tried and true path to freedom: meditation. The idea is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly profound. The universe is like a symphony of vibrations, and through meditation, you can learn to tune your own consciousness to the music of the cosmos. Now, it's not easy. It can be a lifelong journey, but it is the most reliable path to enlightenment there is.
But what if you don't have decades to spend meditating in a cave? Are there any shortcuts? Well, this viewpoint points to 3 so-called spiritual hacks that can rip a temporary hole in the veil of reality. Things like psychedelics can blast open the doors of perception. Extreme self-denial, like fasting, can starve the ego and awaken the spirit. And of course, near-death experiences can literally catapult you straight into the heart of the light. Now, these aren't for the faint of heart, but they offer a tantalizing glimpse of what lies beyond. So, let's say you've done it. You've escaped the cave. Now what? Well, it's not just about enjoying your own freedom. It's about embarking on a new quest, a quest for a much higher purpose. And for this quest, you're going to need a map. A map that, according to this perspective, has been hidden in plain sight for centuries, in the great books.
So what's the ultimate prize at the end of this incredible journey? This worldview lays out 3 absolutely epic possibilities. First, you have immortality, the ability to become a legend, a story that echoes through eternity. Second, reincarnation, becoming a master of life and death itself, able to choose your own destiny. And finally, the big one, godhood, gaining the power to become a creator of worlds, a master of your very own universe.
And you know what? It all comes down to this one beautiful, elegant formula. Love is the fuel. Imagination is the fire. When you bring those 2 things together, you become a cosmic blacksmith, able to forge reality itself. This, according to this perspective, is the secret of the gods. So where do you find the instruction manual for becoming a god? It's believed to be hiding in plain sight, in the great books, the Iliad, the Republic, the Divine Comedy. These aren't just dusty old classics you had to read in school. They're presented as coded messages, as treasure maps that lead to the very secrets of the universe. If you know how to read them, they just might teach you how to build a whole new world.
But I have to warn you, this is not a path for someone who just wants to dabble. This is an all-or-nothing kind of deal. You have to make a choice, the red pill or the blue pill. You can have the comfortable lies of the material world, or you can have the difficult, exhilarating truth of the spiritual path. You can't have both.
So, we end right where we began, with a choice. If any of this worldview is true, then you are not a victim of circumstance. You are a creator. The power to shape reality is right there, in your hands. The maps are in the books. The choice is yours. The real question isn't if you will create a universe, but which one. What world will you bring into being?